It seems like a lot of short scenes.
It's bold in terms of jerking people around, but...
Welcome to another Only Figure Fans video. So today, instead of a tutorial, a walkthrough, or a showcase, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be taking a mini deep dive into the world of Star Wars action figures that are based on comic books. After that deep dive, we're going to be doing predictions for the upcoming Black Series Lucasfilm publishing figures. We're going to be doing a 12 figure list of predictions, so stick around. So the first Star Wars action figure based on a comic book came out back in 1996. It came out in the Power of the Force line, and they were comic books based on a video game, Shadows of the Empire. 2 multi-packs came out, each multi-pack consisting of 2 figures. The first multi-pack was Darth Vader versus Prince Caesar, and the second multi-pack, my favorite one, is Boba Fett versus IG-88. Both of these multi-packs came with a comic book. So you get 2 action figures, and you also get a comic book which the 2 characters appear on. I really love the concept of 2 action figures on a comic book. In later years, you will see how they kept this tradition alive. So we won't be getting any other action figures based on comic books until 1998. And in 1998, we got the Dark Empire figures and the Heir to the Empire figures. The Heir to the Empire is a comic book based on the novel by Timothy Zahn. We got 3 figures from that line. We got Grand Admiral Thrawn, Mara Jade, and a Space Trooper. For the Dark Empire figures, we got 4 of them. We had the Imperial Sentinel, Clone Emperor Palpatine, Princess Leia, and Fallen Luke Skywalker. Instead of being multi-packs, the figures that came out in 1998 were single carded and did not come with a comic book. But to make up for the fact, it comes with a 3D pop-up diorama scene in the back part of the card back. So now we're gonna have to skip away to 2006, where we got our 30th anniversary Star Wars action figures. So we're still in the 3 3/4 line, and to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Star Wars, we got a bunch of awesome figures. Aside from those awesome figures, we also got multi-packs. Those multi-packs consisted of 2 action figures and a comic book, kind of like the ones from 1996. Instead of just doing 2, I think they did over 30. And all of these are really cool. They're a little bit more expensive now, but they did a bunch of figures from Kirkanis, Kyle Katarn, Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker, Grand Admiral Thrawn, a Republic Commando. They did a bunch of figures. They also did figures with the color deco from the comics from the 70s, so those were really cool also. I remember one of my first 3 3/4 action figures was actually from a multi-pack, and it was the Han Solo in Stormtrooper disguise and Chewbacca. I still have those figures to this day, even though I can't find them right now. I know they're somewhere in my house, and I know I did a big yikes by adding liquid paper to the blue coloring on the Stormtrooper Han, because I wanted him to look just full white, and it really messed up my figure. So that went ahead and ended by 2010. So we got over 30 figures based on comic books, and we won't be getting any other figure based on a comic book until 2019, where we received 4 figures, but they weren't 3 3/4, they were 6" and from the Black Series. So we got Afra, BT-1, and 000. And then we also got the exclusive Luke Skywalker Strikes figure. The Afra, BT-1 and 000 figures right now are extremely expensive. I only have Afra and BT-1, but 000 is going around the triple digits now. So we got those figures in 2019. We got those really cool 4 figures. But now, in 2021, they announced the Lucasfilm publishing figures. I only have 3 of the 4 released figures, so we're gonna take a quick look at them. The first one that we have is Darth Maul Sith Apprentice from the Darth Maul comics. This is just a shirtless new body with a new head on the old Darth Maul legs. This might be one of my favorite figures out of the 4, even though I still don't have the Luke. I just really like the new torso and the added articulation. My only dislike is that the legs are the same from the old mall, which are kind of hard to stand up. The second figure that we have is a little bit of a mix-up. It says it's Karner Jax, but it's actually Kirk Canis from Crimson Empire. So it's kind of lazy that they didn't change it, but at the same time, I do understand that when you're making a figure, there's processes that are already done. But at the same time, I find it kind of hard to believe how they let that slip. But who cares, honestly, it's just a toy. But Karner Jax, really cool figure. I really like the retro cape. The only thing is that I just wish it had a removable helmet, kind of like the multi-pack from 2006 had. For the third figure is Jackson from Star Wars Adventures. Even though he appeared on the old Marvel Star Wars comics in the 70s and 80s, I don't know why they chose to have the Star Wars Adventures cover for it. I guess because Jackson was right front and center in the cover. But even though I really like the figure, I feel they were very creative with how they used all the different parts to make a new figure. They used the torso and arms from X-Wing Pilot Luke, and then the legs from Farm Boy Luke with some extra pieces. It's actually kind of crazy how they did it, and it looks really cool. Jackson, it was actually a pretty surprising figure. And for the last figure, which I don't have, I do have a custom of it, is Luke Skywalker from Heir to the Empire. The official release goes with his black outfit. It's kind of the same outfit he wore on Dagobah, but just black. I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't add a belt to him. After all the belts that they have for Luke figures, they could have just added like that extra piece. My custom figure is a little bit different from the official release. I went from a different look from the same comic book, and he has a white shirt, like a tan white shirt, and then he has the X-Wing pants. I also added a backpack from the Rey figure, and yeah, I don't think mine is better or the Hasbro one is better. It's just a different look that I did. This is kind of like a Luke crashed pilot version. So all these 4 figures were really cool. Most of them are repacks or heavily retooling old figures, and I understand why they're doing it. And if that's the case, like, we have to retool or repack old figures to make new figures, I really don't mind. As long as we're having like comic book based figures, it's pretty cool. So right now we're gonna do a prediction. It's gonna be 12 figures, and I only have one rule. Like, it can be from any comic book, but my only rule is that the character has to be in the cover art. So let's get started. Number 1 is Alpha 17 from the Republic comic books. Alpha 17 is the character that actually was the inspiration for Rex, and he only appeared in the graphic novels that came around 2003. I really like these comic books. Alpha 17 is very different from Rex. He's more brutish and jerkish, but I do really love his design. I can see them doing this figure with just a couple new extra parts like the pauldron and the skirt, but they already have a clone body that they can use for this. So I can see this as a very viable option. Number 2 is one that I actually think they're gonna do, and it's Jaster Mariel from Jango Fett Open Seasons. So Jaster Mariel actually got recanonized with the 2nd season of The Mandalorian, where Boba Fett's chain code has Jaster Mariel written on it. And for those who don't know, Jaster Mariel is Jango Fett's adoptive father. He's the Mandalorian that took him in as a foundling, and he's an overall really like interesting character. He thinks that Mandalorians should be not like a family, but more like a group of mercenaries. So I really like his design also, and I can see them doing the same thing that they did in 2006, and it's do a Jango Fett repaint with a new holster and some like extra new blasters. And I can see this coming because we might get like a Jaster Muriel name drop in the Book of Boba Fett, so looking forward to seeing if this one comes out. So number 3 is Asajj Ventress from the Republic comic books. I can see them doing this because it's just a repaint and maybe like a little bit of retooling on her chest for like the different deco that she wore on Republic. It's way different than the saturated purples that we saw in Clone Wars. It's a lot more grayer, blacker, and with some highlights of white. For the 4th one is Clone Emperor Palpatine from Dark Empire. And for those who don't know, I'm actually a huge fan of Dark Empire. I do have a love-hate relationship with it, but it's, I think my 3rd video in this channel was based on Dark Empire, so I do have my history with it, so bear with me. Clone Emperor Palpatine is a younger version of Palpatine. He's a lot more stronger and fit than he looks like in the prequels. So I guess they could use the Darth Maul, the same Darth Maul that they used for Sith Apprentice, and add some robes on top of him with a new head. And of course doing a repaint of the chest and the arms from Maul. But I can see them doing this because the figure that came out for... So the second version that they did for Palpatine from Dark Empire actually had a kind of like an almost nude version of him underneath, and you had like soft goods that you could put on top. So I can see them doing like a hybrid of that with the new Maul body and just some added robes and a new head. It would be really awesome to have like a Clone Emperor Palpatine and also get a Clone Emperor Palpatine from Rise of Skywalker in the future, just to have those side by side. The next one is Leia from the new Marvel Star Wars comics, the Age of Rebellion one. This is very easy, just Leia, new vest, that's it. Like a vest or a cape, and that's it. This look is very popular for Leia. We've seen it in Battlefront 2, we've seen it in a bunch of covers and issues from the Star Wars comics, and yeah, pretty simple look to do. Which also goes for my next one, which is number 6, Han Solo from the Marvel Han Solo comics. I can see them doing this one because, again, it's just another repaint. Just paint his pants blue and red and give him a brown jacket. This will be really lazy. I'll still grab it somehow, but if they do this, just change the Bespin head to the Return of the Jedi head, because the Bespin head looks kind of weird and it doesn't look like Harrison Ford at all. So the last 2 ones are kind of like lazy cash grabs that they can do. Number 7 would be Mara Jade from By the Emperor's Hand comic book. So these comic books were actually one of the first ones that I owned as a kid. So Mara Jade was always looked on as one of the main characters in my eyes as a kid. And they can do Jaina, like the Jaina body, just new arms and a new head, and that's it. I started doing a custom for that. I just need a new head for her, but they can do that super easy, and everyone would go crazy for a Mara Jade figure. If we get a Mara Jade figure, we would have Luke, Thrawn, and Mara Jade from Heir to the Empire. Then the next one is a repack of Afra, because Afra's like $150 now. Come on, Hasbro, just give us a Afra repack. Number 9 is another easy cash grab that they can do, and is Boba Fett, but the Jango alias, which is from the War of the Bounty Hunters. It's from the recent comic book series where Boba Fett has to go on disguise, so he wears a black arm, like he paints his armor black, and he uses the name of his father to enter like a tournament. I feel, again, another quick and easy cash grab. They can paint the new Return of the Jedi figure black, and that's it, call it a day. So we're down to our last 3. So number 10 would be Ben from the Rise of Kylo Ren comic books. I don't know which look they could do. but the one that seems the most likely is probably the one where he has where it's the all black and he's wearing the vest, because they can use a bunch of other parts from other figures and Frankenstein Ben Solo for us. At first I actually chose Ren from that comic book, but after realizing that he doesn't appear in any of the covers, I had to go with Ben Solo. Number 11 is Quinlan Vos from the Republic comic books. I can see them doing a Clone Wars Quinlan Vos, but they can also do it here. They can have the torso from the new like Obi-Wan and General Skywalker figures with just some new parts added to it. Quinlan Vos is a cool ass character, so I wouldn't mind a figure from him at all. And for the last one, number 12, Battle Damaged Vader from the Darth Vader comics. I don't know why they haven't done a Battle Damaged Vader. Seems like a pretty easy figure to do after having so many Vader molds that they've done. Just give us Vader with robot parts and like a robot leg. It would be amazing. Everyone would die for that figure. It would sell out immediately from the shelves. Just give it to us, Hasbro, please. But yeah, there's many variations of his look. You can go from the Force Unleashed comic books, gets battle damaged all the time in the new Darth Vader comic book, so there's a bazillion choices that they can choose from that comic book. But yeah, the last one's Battle Damaged Vader. And that's a wrap for all the comic book based figures I would like to see. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I know it was kind of like a different video and a longer one. I want to keep doing these video essay type videos, because right now I don't have a tutorial that I can do. I just gotta get my hands on some more paint, some more figures, and some more parts, so I can keep doing more customs for you guys. But aside from that, thank you very much. For the next video, we're gonna do Delta Squad Showcase or Palpatine and Plagueis Showcase. If you guys want to comment down below what you guys want to see, let me know. But yeah, have a beautiful day and see you guys later.